Hello, this is George. Can you believe that we're in week 6 already? That our time is flying by. So I want to talk about part 3 of the assignment. Part 2, you're dropping off today or posting today. So I want to talk about part 3 as we get going on this assignment here. It's a compilation of the observed reports that includes, so everything has been building to this. So in Part 1, you did the literature review. That was the framework for your plan. Part 2, you got permission. You used one of the interactions. You conducted the in-depth interaction, and you documented it with details. So now Part 3, we're going to write everything up. So you're going to compile the observation report, and let's just go through this point by point. Demographics of the child, biopsychosocial profile of the child, observed through a systems framework, answering where does the child fall. So when we're talking about that, we're talking in a cognitive development point of view perspective. The environment, where did you do this? Was it at a park? Was it at home? Where was it? And then don't just say it was at a park or it was at home. Kind of describe the environment a little bit, kind of get in depth in the description. The core concepts discovered in your observation using research to cite these core concepts. Hopefully, what a lot of you found was that a lot circled back to this literature review that you did. Because if your literature review does cover it, then you can just state that down here. I found this, and this was evident through, and then you could use the same sourcing that you did in your literature review. So that is an easy way to go about it. If some of it was not in your literature review, then it's going to be new data, new discoveries, and that's fine as well. It just makes your writing a little bit simpler if you create that circle, if you will, of this is what we found, this is why we found it, and then everything is there. So it just gives your report more support, if that makes sense. Excuse me, a summary of the interactive observation methodology, the procedures that you did. So did you talk with a child? Were you throwing a ball? What were you doing? Now the written discussion of the cognitive development of the child. This is where it can get pretty interesting. This is the fun part. And that fun part is what did you find? What supports it? What kind of goes against the support? So make it a discussion. Look at it from those multiple perspectives that we've been talking about through our class. So give it a more thought. Then this is more than just this is this, that's that. This is where we can start nuancing the conversation and say, well, the child I was observing showed these typical traits, and the traits were stated. They were or were not associated with the developmental level that the child was supposed to be in, and then it moved forward because now you can dig into a little bit of why. So it all circles back to our literature review. That's why literature reviews are important, because the literature review supports our discussion, and our discussion is where we find out new stuff. And if the new stuff that we find is supported by previous research along the way, then it makes our findings even stronger. So it's not about empirical, this is right, this is wrong. It's about supporting the discussion, supporting the argument, bringing forward a discussion to get more scholarly detail involved in it. And then a reflection on personal bias. We all have it, whether we want to tell ourselves we do or not. We all have a personal bias, because remember, we all have a schema, and a schema is our memories and experiences, and that's the filter that we see everything through. And our brain always wants us to know how smart it is, so it fills in any gaps. And those gaps that our brain is filling in is our bias. Basically, in a nutshell, that is our bias. It's what we fill in the blanks with because of our past experience, our past memories. So what we want to do is we want to understand that and engage with that, because there's no way you're going to get rid of 100% of your bias, but you do want to engage with it and see what can come up through the engagement. And then after you submit your paper, you're going to talk with your peers and discuss in the forum about your findings and your observation report. So that was the quick reference of our Part 3 paper. I hope the little tidbits helped. If not, I'm always available via text, email, anything you need. And for this part 3, if you want to get feedback early, feel free to email it to me prior to turning it in. But if you want my feedback, it's got to be to me at least 3 days prior to the submission date for the uh, assignment. But I'll gladly look it through and give you feedback to see where you need. See, you may give it to me and I may say, hey, this is great, turn it in. Or you may get feedback on parts you may need to strengthen. So I hope this helps and have a great week.